Hello, this is Dr. Ingram with Family Functional Medicine, and today I want to talk a little bit about cholesterol labs. When you receive your test results, it's natural to have questions. So I've created this video to give you some insight to help you make informed decisions. Keep in mind, these results are not your personalized results. These are general results. Your personal treatment plan will be discussed during your visit. Knowledge you get in this video is going to help us use our time during that visit more efficiently. If you're not a patient with family functional medicine, I encourage you to use this knowledge to help engage with your provider. We're here to guide you through your journey. We don't prescribe rigid treatments or rules. Instead, you and I are going to work together to discover what works best for your lifestyle and your goals. And always remember, it's progress, not perfection. So here's what we're going to talk about: cholesterol, HDL, LDL, lipoproteins, particle size, insulin resistance score, and ApoB. Remember, the goal is to prevent vascular disease, heart attack, stroke, dementia, and peripheral vascular disease. Preventing vascular disease is not to get a good number on a piece of paper. That's not the goal. There is a whole lot more involved than just cholesterol. Often the source is infections in your mouth, inflammation in your gut, blood sugar and insulin, blood pressure, genetics, nutrients like vitamin D and omega-3 fatty acids, injury, and toxins such as lead, smoking, and mercury. We frequently talk about plaque building up in the lining of the arteries, but what we want to know is why. Newer theories are looking at the lining of the walls, this blue structure that we see on the right. And once that becomes damaged, then cholesterol can be deposited, and that's when you get plaque buildup. So we want to think about the wall of the arteries. This is what a typical cholesterol report is going to look like. It can be kind of mind-boggling. The first column is going to be your current results, and the next column to the right is going to be your previous results. So we're looking at our current results and comparing them to previous. Frequently, I say scroll down to the end of the report to find the pretty pictures. Conventional medicine looks at this first part on the top of the first page, looking at what they call LDL, or the bad cholesterol, or HDL, the good cholesterol. Conventional medicine also uses different reference ranges. Total cholesterol, you have to remember, is made up of the LDL and the HDL. We need cholesterol. Every hormone, such as estrogen and testosterone, is made up of it. The outer part of every cell that controls what comes in and goes out is made up of cholesterol. Vitamin D and bile are also made up of cholesterol. Yes, the same bile that we use to digest our fat and absorb nutrients. We need cholesterol for our brain. The brain contains 23% of all the cholesterol in the body. This is a quote from the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease from 2012 that says lowering cholesterol levels may impair brain function, since cholesterol is essential for synapse formation, and that's the connections in every nerve. So we need cholesterol for the brain. Here's the report that will show historically where you have been and where you're going. Now, there's different kinds of LDL. Conventional medicine usually looks at the LDL-C, or the calculated. One thing that's nice about this graph is it gives you colors. Now, I will say functional medicine wants a different reference range. We like cholesterol to be about 110 to 125 or 130 to make sure that your brain is continuing to function and work well. LDL particle number. It's better to look at the LDLP. This is a better marker of risk. Let's talk about why. So cholesterol, blood cells, white blood cells, they travel along in the arteries to get to where they're going, to the brain, the heart, the feet, the liver. Now, blood is mostly water, and cholesterol is fat, and it can't dissolve in the blood. So it needs lipoproteins. That's what the L, the second L in LDL, and the L in HDL stand for, is a lipoprotein. It's a little carrier molecule, and it goes on every fat cell so that it can travel through the blood, which is mostly water. So LDL-C versus LDL-P, the lipoproteins are not cholesterol. They are proteins that carry the cholesterol. They're the little molecules that carry. And so I make an analogy to buses. Buses carry the actual cholesterol. The little yellow C's in each bus is the cholesterol molecule. So LDLP particle number, that's the number of buses. LDLC, or calculated, that's the amount of passengers that are being carried. So here we are back at the artery, and you see that we have our little buses with cholesterol traveling through the artery. What we don't want is too many LDL particles or too many buses, because then we get traffic and accidents and buses run into the wall and cause damage, and then their passengers get out and go into the wall of the artery and settle there, and that's where we get the buildup of cholesterol, which can later become a plaque. That's where the damage comes in. How do we lower LDLP? Oh, that's complicated. Lots of things are involved: inflammation, infections, injury, nutrients, genetics, toxins, high blood pressure. But the biggest thing to control LDLP is to control blood sugar and insulin. High blood sugar is one of the greatest risks for vascular disease. That's why we frequently look at hemoglobin A1C. That's your long-term blood sugar. And we typically want that to be around 5.5, but certainly below 5.7. So what about HDL? High density lipoprotein. This is considered the good marker for cholesterol. That is because it transports cholesterol to the liver, where it can then be removed. So here we are in the artery, and you see the green truck full of cholesterol taking HDL, delivering the cholesterol to the liver, and the liver can excrete it out of the body. That's a good thing. We want a higher HDL. This is what it looks like on the report. There's actually 2 pages. HDLC is the calculated, and HDLP is the number of trucks. Lipoproteins, remember, are not cholesterol. They're the proteins that carry the cholesterol. So again, we have trucks compared to the buses, and the HDLP is the particle number, or the number of trucks, and HDLC is the amount of cholesterol that's being carried. So what about LDL size? This is LDL. And you'll see on the report that there is a bar that says large, pattern A, and another one that says small, pattern B, and is red. We always want to go for green. And we see the triangle on this report is underneath the large pattern. So that's good. We want large LDL. So back to our cars. Imagine the vehicles, and if we had large buses compared to small buses, smaller vehicles drive fast and dangerous. and they can then run into the sides of the wall and cause the damage. But the bigger buses, they just kind of mosey along, don't go quite as fast, don't cause as much damage, although they may carry more cholesterol. The damage is from the little buses. So let's talk about insulin resistance. This is not a measure of insulin. This is a calculation based on other lipid markers. So this does not mean that you're a diabetic. This is what the insulin score looks like. You'll see on this report, the little triangle is under the red, which is not where we want to be. So this is a high score. And this is based on this person's triglycerides and their LDLP. Let's talk about ApoB. ApoB is a protein marker on LDL. If it's high, this is a risk for vascular disease. And it directs the lipoproteins to run into the walls of the blood vessels. So back to our buses. Imagine a bus with a big sign on it that says ApoB. That's the protein. This is what the report looks like. We want it to be below 90. So here is our car, and it runs right into the wall. And again, you can see this is very damaging. So having a high level of ApoB is another marker of potential risk. Lipoprotein little a. This is genetic risk for vascular disease. It's not related to lifestyle or what you eat. This is involved in clotting. So it makes blood thick and sticky. It decreases the flow. So I make the analogy here to LPL little a being like the traffic cones. This is what someone's report looks like. And you see the goal is to have a level below 75. With this person, we were actually able to successfully decrease the lipoprotein little a. But remember, this is genetic. If you have this high genetic risk factor, we may never get below the reference range. Here's what lipoprotein little a looks like in the blood vessel. It slows the flow, but remember, there's still dangerous drivers. Those with ApoB or the small LDL molecules are still going to run into the side of the artery wall. I understand that the information that I shared might be overwhelming, but my intent is to provide you insight into what the labs mean so that you have the knowledge before our visit and you're prepared to discuss actionable steps. So I look forward to working with you to identify any areas that we can make improvement and help create a roadmap towards better health.